Welcome to Nasdaq Trade Talks. I'm Jill Malandrino, Global Markets Reporter at Nasdaq. Joining me is Kinahan, Chief Market Strategist at TD Ameritrade, to discuss retail trading trends based on the IMX reading for April. The IMX is TD Ameritrade's proprietary behavior-based index aggregating Main Street investor positions and activity to measure what investors actually were doing and how they were positioned in the markets. And while the reading for April was slightly lower, levels are still historically high.
Yeah, they are still historically high. I think it's maybe a little bit surprising, Jill, in a month where you see the S&P 500 up over 5%. They actually see our clients, as you said, slightly lower on the month in terms of the exposure they are willing to take to the market overall. Very interesting to me that, our clients were buyers of equity, but they were much more buyers of fixed income than we've seen over the past few months. So we saw this pattern in the past where our clients were perhaps selling some things and then buying other equities. What we're seeing now is our clients, when they're selling things, they're still buying some equities, but they're buying fixed income also. So I think we're at a real sort of pivot point in the market overall as we continue to go back and forth between growth and value investing.
Yeah, and I also think what was interesting was the mix of stocks that they were buying for April. It certainly seems like there's more new names than we've seen in the past.
Yeah, absolutely. One of the interesting things is, as you know, Apple's always a big buy. Wasn't one of the top 5 this time, but something our clients on dips will continue to buy. What was interesting is some of the names we did see, a lot of media related, is we saw Disney take a little bit of a downward bump in April. Our clients came in and bought that Viacom also. So on the buy side, media sort of leading the way as two of the top names that we saw our clients purchase.
And on the sell side as well, kind of another mixed bag of stocks that were selling.
Yeah, definitely. But it led with, the vaccine-related stocks, which 2 of them, Moderna and Pfizer, hit 52-week highs. And so with that, our clients deciding to sell those. So as those companies have spent so much of their time and energy, and we saw in their earnings reports on the COVID vaccine, now that they're sort of turning into maybe a little bit of their regular businesses overall, we know that that might take a little bit of time to get going. And so our clients, I think, saw that as an opportunity to perhaps lighten a little bit of their overall long exposure to those companies.
And as we look at the market going into the summer, it feels as if the past couple of weeks, things have really slowed down. People are getting vaccinated, they're ready to go on vacation. I'm seeing a lot of out-of-office messages. It feels as if the summer trade has been accelerated a bit. Well,
I think to your point, with the vaccines and with people finally being able to go and do things after about 15 months, how wonderful was it for many of us on a Mother's Day that people who didn't get to see their mothers last year got to do so this year. So just the small things like that, I think, are such, overall great things. And the other thing is, Jill, let's face it, there's no great catalyst story right now. We finished the primary earnings season. You don't have that 1 or 2 stocks that have people super excited, and we're in a little bit of a holding pattern as far as rates go.
Yeah, that's a good point. And we also don't have election season to really worry about like we did last year. I just felt like there were so many more catalysts. And of course, we're still dealing with COVID-19 as a more extreme situation than we are now. It doesn't seem as if these volatility events are really on the horizon that we're aware of anyway.
Yeah, I'm sure we'll get one soon. As they say, it's always the punch you don't see that knocks you out. And so I'm sure there's one waiting to smack us in the face. You had a little bit of we saw a little bit of evidence that over the weekend with the pipeline takeover, in terms of, shutting it down for ransomware or whatever it may be. So again, there are things that you don't see on the horizon that can have an effect. That doesn't seem to be so major at the moment, but those are the type of things you always have to be sort of on guard for with your position so that you don't get sloppy in terms of the exposure you do take to the market.
Yeah, that's a great point, Great to see you as always. Thanks for joining us on Trade Talks, and thanks for joining me. I'm Jill Malandrino, Global Markets Reporter at Nasdaq.